which quadratic equation has no real solutions? So we're given 4 quadratic equations, and we need to find which one has no real solutions. We can do that by finding the discriminant. The discriminant is equal to b squared minus 4ac for quadratics of the form y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So when you find the discriminant of a quadratic and the discriminant is less than 0, that means that the number of roots for that quadratic is equal to 0. And the roots are how many times that the parabola on the xy plane crosses the x-axis. So when the discriminant is 0 or less than 0, you have a parabola that doesn't cross the x-axis. So it could look something like that, or it could be concave down and look something like that. But the vertex of the quadratic is above or below the x-axis, which means it never crosses the x-axis. So when the discriminant of a quadratic is less than 0, it means that the y value never equals 0. So if we set y equal to 0 here, then whichever of these equations, which are all set equal to 0, and on the left-hand side is a quadratic, whichever one of them has a discriminant less than 0 means that the quadratic never equals 0. So that means that which of these answer choices has a discriminant less than 0 cannot have a real solution because the equation will never equal 0. So we just need to find the discriminant for all these answer choices. So for answer choice A, the discriminant b squared minus 4ac. So b is 14, so 14 squared minus 4 times a, which is 1, since there's just a 1 coefficient, and c, which is negative 49. So 14 squared is equal to 196, and 4 times 49 is equal to 196 as well, but since there is a double negative, so that's just becomes a positive. And this is clearly not less than 0, since this is two positive numbers being added together. So that means A is wrong, since we need it to have a discriminant less than 0 for the equation to not have a solution. Okay, then let's look at B. So B, for answer choice B, B is also 14, but this time it's negative. But since we're squaring it, that doesn't matter. And then 4 times AC will be 4 times A, which is 1, and C, which is 49. So this will give us 196, but this time we'll have a negative 196, since negative 4 times 49 is equal to negative 196. This is just equal to 0. And this means that this equation has one solution, since the discriminant is equal to 0. The discriminant here was positive, since we have two positive numbers being added. That means that this equation in A has two solutions, B has one solution, but we're looking for one with no real solutions. Okay, so for answer choice C, this time we have A equaling 5. So B squared is going to be the same thing again, negative 14 squared minus 4 times A, which is 5 in this case, times C, which is negative 49. So negative 14 squared is 196 again. And then negative 4 times 5 times 49 is equal to 980. But since there's two negatives, that just leaves us with a positive. And this is, again, greater than 0, so that means C has 2 solutions. We need it to have 0. So that means D probably has a negative discriminant, but let's just check. So B squared will be negative 14 squared again, minus 4 times 5 times 49. So this gives us 196 minus 980, since there's only one negative here. And this is going to clearly be a negative number, since 980 is much larger than 196. So 196 minus 980 is equal to negative 784, which is less than 0. So that means D has no real solutions. So D is the correct answer.